All right, let's get into it. Let me Faith-based Friday. Faith-based Friday. All right, give me a second, guys. Let me a little late. I got caught up in some politics. caught up in some politics. Uh, Gotta try check Facebook. We here. LinkedIn. Let's get all right. LinkedIn. We should be all right with LinkedIn. And let me just get on the YouTube real quick and get everything going. All right. There it is. Mic check. All right. Mic check. All right, right into it. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day you may be tuned into this. Good day. I'll just start saying good day to you all. My name, as one, anybody that's new to my world, my name, as one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player, and current 5-time, soon to be 6-time published author and educator. What I did, what I created, what the whole Move Swiftly business is all about, taking the innovative teamwork lessons that you learn on the football field, aligning them with business owners so they have employees, they have a staff, they have a group of individuals that moves as efficiently and productively and has that passion of a championship high school or youth football team. That's what we do around here over here in the Move Swiftly world. And what I'm one of the things I'm the most proud of is how I've been able to create systems. One of the things that I got out of getting paid or paying somebody to coach me is him teaching me how important systems are and having systems work for you. And even before they really start working for you to the point where they're just working harder than you are, your mindset when it comes to how you're going to deliver your content, deliver your material to your ideal audience. When it comes to a system, that stuff, man, it's so absolutely important. And what we do every Friday here is we do something called Faith-based Friday. And I myself, I go to church every Sunday. I'm actually a group leader at my church, at Life Church, and seeing that, I think in many situations, as great as the pastor's message is on Sunday, I think it's important to reaffirm it and go back to it going into Friday. So I created something called Faith-based Friday, where I go and I listen to Pastor Craig Grochel's message, and he happens to be in a series, right? He happens to be in a series that is all about relationships. And I mean, when I tell you it couldn't be more timely, it couldn't be more on point, it couldn't be more absolutely needed for me to hear. Oh my goodness. So the next 6 weeks, he's going over a lot of the marriages that are in the Bible, and he's aligning them with what a person's going through in their personal life. And me, myself, being in a new relationship, being in a new situation, and being not only in a new relationship, but never really have had to be in a relationship, never had to. I swear, I mean, the one girlfriend I had before the one I currently have was a high school situation where, again, I was so committed to playing football. I grew up with very incredibly tight with my older sister, and me and the girl didn't go to the same school. So I'd never really had to see her. I never really had to pay attention to her. It's really just one of those things where it's like, look, go have your sex and move on. That was literally the relationship, which, again, I personally take accountability for. I should have known to do a better job. I should have been more responsible in regards to what the real situation was. But again, you're talking to high school version of as one that, as long as giving them some ass, then I was good. That was my mentality. Get your ass and move on. So, the relationship I'm in now is so much more fulfilling, so much more about conversation, so much more about, really connecting with each other mentally. And I tell her all the time, look, if we could literally just be friends and be good. And that's the advice, especially when you're talking about. Actually, tomorrow there's a men's only Bible study that I'm going to be going to, men's only group that we're going to be going over. It's the first Saturday of every month. And so much of it came because of my mentality months, years before I actually met her. My mentality shifted in terms of what being in a relationship is all about. It has very little to do with the actual person that you meet, and so much more to do with what's working on the inside of you, especially us as men, because men, I'm telling you right now, we have our option. We have the option to be the little boy and, run around, run around with a bunch of a bunch of stupid ass females, as we can see what's going on with Belichick and Shannon Sharp, and running around with all these OnlyFans models and all this other stupid shit. Or you have your option to commit. All right. I love one of my favorite human beings to follow is a guy named Dev. Can't believe it. Oh my God. Pastor Devon Franklin, who, he wrote a book called The Wait with his ex-wife, Megan Good. And one of the speeches he gave, he used to say, boys play, men commit. Be a man, make a commitment. And when I say commitment, I'm not just talking in terms of your romantic relationship. I'm talking about commit to what it is you're trying to do in every phase of life, your career. And then your career, your family, your whatever it is important to you. Start making a commitment. All right. And then you'll start to see the right one come to you if you start to make sure the things that are working inside of you are focused and you're aligning with things. All right. So he's, for the next 6 weeks, Pastor Craig Groeschel is actually going over a lot of the things that I personally need to hear, given my new relationship status and what I, from when I started in the content creation game and being, out there public speaking to now, it's kind of a different world because, she sees Aswan outside of just a virtual thing. Like, it's like the way my energy is. If I just yesterday we were talking and my energy was a little down, and then she picked up on it, it turned into a 2-hour conversation. So it's like, yo, this is insane. It's insane. It's a new world for me. So when it comes to his message, the way he started off, I'll let him start off because it's so many points that he's making throughout his message. And the first one is very, very important for you guys to hear. Like again, Pastor Craig Groeschel, he does such a great job in connecting what the overall macro, like the secular point of his speech is, like getting you to see that bigger vision, and then driving it right back home to where no matter what happens in your life, no matter what your situation is, single, married, widow, if you're dating, whatever it is you're doing, all right, whatever, you gonna need God. You will need God every step of the way. You will need God. All right, hear me. You're going to need God, and you're going to need faith every step of the way. So he starts off with a very, very strong question. And then for those of you who don't know, what I do is as I go through the message, and there's certain points that I have written down here because I listen to it. I make it a point to re-listen to it before I come on here and I speak on it. And little points, I have certain points here that I want to make sure we touch on, and then we'll get there as we go. So Pastor Craig Groeschel, take it away.
If you know a controlling woman, raise your hand. Do not point for your own safety. Don't point. Don't you dare point. Don't you dare point. All right, let's have some fun. How many of you know a passive man? Raise your hand. Passive man. Now, if you're a truly passive man, do not raise your hand. Just sit there and do nothing. Unless, of course, your wife tells you to, then do whatever she tells you to do. Just going to have some fun. Imagine taking the most controlling woman and the most passive man, putting them together in marriage and giving them a kingdom to run. Congratulations, you have Ahab and Jezebel.
All right. So, and one point I have to make too. One of the things about me, and I think I repeat this every single time I go do a faith-based Friday. I didn't grow up in the church. I did not grow up in the church. Grew up in a Caribbean household where, outside of my immediate family, when you looked around my extended family, it seemed normal. It seemed like the thing to do, to go and live with someone before you marry, start a family with someone. Marriage didn't seem like that big of a deal. All right. So when I hear these stories, it is news to me. It is actually news to me because I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know I couldn't retell you what the story is all about, which is why, again, no matter what. This is why I call it faith-based Friday. When you have faith and when you actually want to do so, you want to break patterns. You want to be in a situation where you're believing in something bigger than yourself, believing in something. You don't want to be so dependent on another individual person, because you've seen it go bad so frequently. You've seen that go bad. You want to be more so dependent on what God tells you to do, what a bigger purpose is, and the faith that you guys have. That is where, again, so much of what gets said, and why I'm always, no matter what, trying to make sure I'm staying connected to this word. All right. And this is another reason I do it is in case you grew up like me and you didn't grow up in the church, but you want to do something constructive with your life. You want to be positive. You want to be somebody that isn't a statistic and isn't doing the shit that is. Geez, I try my best to keep the swear words to a minimum, especially on a day like today, where we working on cleaning it up. All right, working on cleaning it up. We want to make sure you're not doing the things that were previously kind of created for you. That's why I do these. So let me skip through. Let's go through 4. Yes, story starts here. I think I got it at 4:49. Let me go.
It hurt an entire nation. Now, some of you say, okay, Craig, I'm interested, but I'm not building a kingdom.
Right. Okay.
I'm just trying to build a normal life.
Yeah. So what he did was he told the story of Ahab and Jezebel, and then he gets into
that most relationships. This one failed. Most relationships that fail, they don't fail all at once. What tends to happen is they generally will suffocate, slowly torn apart, often by control or by neglect.
Whoa. I gotta come back.
Warning signs early on is that most relationships, this one failed, most relationships that fail, they don't fail all at once. What tends to happen is they generally will suffocate, slowly torn apart, often by control or by neglect.
Yes.
And there's almost always warning signs early on. The problem is either we don't see them or we choose to overlook them.
Say it to him.
And so what I want to do is from this story show you the 2 dangerous dynamics in relationships.
Say it to him.
The first one is this. There is a controlling spirit that seeks to dominate, and then there is a passive spirit that refuses to engage.
Yep.
In almost every compromised relationship, you'll see some combination of a controlling spirit that seeks to dominate, or a passive spirit that refuses to engage. Let's start with the problem of passivity. Now, even before we see Jezebel get like all up into Ahab's business, he was already avoiding responsibility. You see signs of passivity, and in the Hebrew it's translated, he was a big fat baby. I'm going to show you this in the Bible. There's a story, and he had a neighbor named Naboth, and Naboth inherited some land that Ahab wanted. The problem is God said you're not allowed to sell land that you inherit from your family. You have to keep it in the family. And so we're going to see what happens when Ahab doesn't get his way. Here's the story. One day, 1 Kings 21, one day, Ahab said to Naboth, hey, bro, hey, neighbor, since your vineyard is so convenient to my palace, I'd like to buy it to use it as a vegetable garden. But Naboth replied, hey, I'm sorry, the Lord forbid that I should give you the inheritance that was passed down by my ancestors. So what did Ahab do? Ahab went home angry and sullen because of Naboth's answer. The king went to bed with his face to the wall and refused to eat. I would be tempted to make fun of him if I haven't done things like that. Oh, baby. And that could be me. And when you look at this is the king of a nation. And he didn't negotiate. He didn't pray for wisdom. He didn't try to problem solve. He didn't look for another piece of land. He didn't accept it and move on. Instead, the guy throws a royal temper tantrum because he couldn't grow tomatoes next to his palace. Right? Give the man a juice box and a nap. This is passivity at its worst. So, if you hope to get married one day and you happen to be dating someone and you see passivity, let it be a warning sign. If it's ongoing passivity, you want to avoid it. And if you're married and you see passivity, you want to address it. So let's start with dating. And I'm going to ask you just to imagine with me, and this is going to take a little bit of a stretch to imagine, but imagine that Jezebel's actually a Christian. She's not, but
this is what he does. So that's so well. That's so I'm gonna let him keep playing. I'm gonna let him keep preaching. But do you see the transition? All my public speakers out there, all my business owners, man, all my coaches, my educators, my leaders out there, all right? Understand, he just took a story and was able to translate it into make it something that now you care about, right? You may not know what the story in the Bible, don't know what it is, but now I'm going to translate it to something that I know you care about, which is dating and what you're dealing with. That is absolute. That was fantastic how we did that. All right. And it's a lot to be learned from that. You've got to be able to pick up on these little things.
That she is. Imagine she's a young girl. She's a Christian and she's dating Ahab, and she's very on fire for God. She serves in Life Kids. She's got a 45-day streak on her YouVersion Bible app. She leads a life group. The girl's plugged in. She's dating this guy who claims to be a Christian, but he actually lives in his mom's basement. No big deal. Maybe he's saving money. He never takes her out. Like never, ever, ever. He's exceptional at video games, and he doesn't even make any money from it, which is a warning sign. He's not involved. I mean, make some money. It could be a career. He's not involved at church. He does not have a job. He's not looking for a job. He's got no savings. He's got no drive.
And no plan.
He's got no plan. And she's a little bit concerned. Is she being overly picky, or is she seeing a potential problem? You can vote online if you want to, but my crowd's looking like this might be an issue. But she sees potential. She sees potential. She wants to believe the
what
best.
potential?
I'm going to give you 3 red flags.
Here we go. This is
of a passive spirit. You're dating somebody, you see these things, you might pay attention. The first one is this: they lack direction and they rarely take initiative. They're not, where are you going in life? I don't know. They're not planning for the future. They don't have any kind of goals. There's no kind of dream. They're not taking you on a date. There's no sense of any kind of forward movement
progress,
in their life. They lack direction and rarely take initiative. They avoid hard conversations. Things get difficult and they get quiet. You want to work things out and they want to step back. Third problem, warning sign, is this: they defer responsibility and make excuses.
All right, now that is up on the screen, I want to address all 3 of them. I got to address all 3 of them. Lack of direction and rarely take initiative. All right, this is something that you can develop within your own spirit. So notice that he's not saying a passive person. It's a passive spirit, a passive mentality. All of this boils down to mentality and mindset. All of these things you're able to do on your own. There's not a need for another individual. This is what I want to make sure I'm clear and making sure people understand. Yes, as one is in a relationship now. Yes, he's very fulfilled in his relationship mentalities because as one was fulfilled before. All right. I remember actually making this very same comment to her last night. As one was fulfilled long before he met this particular person. So it's about what you have decided to do on your own before you can start doing shit before you can start doing stuff for other people. That is how it works. Okay. So when it comes to all 3 of these red flags, you don't need another individual telling you to do these things. You don't need another individual telling you to take initiative. You don't need another individual to go have hard conversations and difficult things that are going to be difficult to work through. You don't need another person to be responsible and not make excuses. These are things that you can be doing on your own. So when the right person shows up, you look like you're already, I've already worked through that. I've already worked through that. And then you showed up, and then that hard conversation that they're referring to, that taking the initiative, that not making the excuses, that, I'm going to defer responsibility, and all that stuff has already been addressed. So it just comes out naturally. That's what you have to do. All right. You cannot, and too often, and I've seen this, and the reason I get so fired up about it is because I've seen so many people. I come from the football world. All right. And one of the trade-offs of being in the football world is we as football players, too often do we get pampered, especially when you're good. When you're a really, really good player, too often do you get pampered? Do you get praised too much? Do you get to the point where you start feeling like you're above the law? And I remember I had a roommate when I was a freshman in college, and there would be times, I'm not going to put his name out there, but he knows who he is if he's listening. There would be times where he would not go to class. He wouldn't go to class. I'm talking about someone who was a projected starter, came from one of the best areas in which college football players come from. He wouldn't go to class because his girlfriend, who was back home, didn't call him to make sure that he woke up during class. This is what I'm telling you. This is how crazy it is. There were times where I'm like, "Then you got class, bro?" He's like, "Yeah, my girl ain't calling me, so I ain't go." What? Your girl who doesn't even live on campus, it's her responsibility to call you to make sure you're behind gets in class? This is the kind of things that happen. This wasn't, I looked at it like this was crazy, but this wasn't out of the ordinary when it comes to the kinds of things that go on. And this is exactly what he's saying. These are red flags. They don't take initiative. You don't want to do hard conversations, and you are always making excuses. It's always somebody else's fault. It's always somebody else did this to me, and somebody did this to me, and I'm a victim, and I'm this, and I'm that. You got to get rid of that and understand. And this is why I love the fact that he says a passive spirit. It is a passive spirit. It is a mentality. It is a mentality that you can fix. You can fix the mentality. You can get victory over the mentality if you fix it within your own self. But if you are looking outward and you're looking for somebody else to fix your stuff, then you got a problem, because it's not going to get fixed. I'm telling you right now, there's not one individual out there that's going to fix the problems that you got going on in your own head, in your own skull. That's the issue. All right, you see, Pastor Greg gives me preaching, boy. Oh, Pastor Asmus coming up. Yeah, okay. Let me let him go. I'm gonna let the preacher do his thing.
Part in dating leads to a passive partner in marriage.
Preach on, brother. Preach it.
And I
Say
promise
it to him.
Say
it to him.
You don't want to be married to someone who's not moving toward God or moving forward in life. And let me give you an example from the Bible. When you think of the first sin in the Bible, what was the first sin? Eve ate the forbidden fruit, right? Where was Adam whenever his wife gave in to the temptation? Where was he when she gave in? Was he like watching? Was he out hunting? Was he mowing the yard? Was he playing video games? Let me show you where he was. Genesis 3:6 says, Eve took some of the forbidden fruit and ate it. She also gave some to her husband. Where was he? Who was with her, and he ate it. You could say her sin was rebellion, and his sin was passivity. The bro was right there with her. He saw the serpent. He heard the lie, and he didn't do a dang thing about it. Gentlemen,
come on.
Can we talk like man to man for just a moment?
Let's do it. I wanted to make sure this part got
Some of you men, you left the door open to the devil.
Come on.
Satan is attacking your marriage.
Come on.
Attacking your kids.
Come on, man.
And you're just standing there.
Yeah, just watch it.
Watch it. Remind you.
This one, listen to me. This one,
just a man.
This one hit some absolute triggers. Listen to me very close. I just posted this article just before I started recording about what we are seeing amongst our Black male leaders, especially coming from the sports world that I come from. And this passive spirit, this sitting back, watching stuff happen to us, sitting back, watching things happen to us and not doing a damn thing about it. That stuff is hitting some absolute triggers and striking some chords, man. We got to stop it at some point. Got to stand up and say what's wrong, because we cannot We cannot just let people prosecute us, judge us, and make it so we don't do a damn thing about it. Okay.
But you're called to be a man of God.
Man of God.
Filled with the very same spirit that raised Christ from the dead. Inside you is the heart of a warrior who steps in and steps up. What are you called to do, gentlemen? Lead your home. Pray over your kids. Speak life to your wife. Take initiative. Go out and kill something and drag it home.
Come on, brother.
This is who we are and where we're going and what we stand for. And we're in the body of Christ and we're people of God and we serve in our community. And we tell the devil, as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord.
Come on, man. Come on.
He won't give me my vegetable garden, so I'm going to go cry. No. We are not passive. We are faith-filled, spirit-filled men of God who lead people closer to God. There's a problem of passive. It's not just a male thing, it's an everybody thing.
Yeah, it is.
But I just feel a little more freedom to pick on the men.
Right.
When I pick on the women, it just goes badly.
Yeah.
So
this is the part. Again, I strongly recommend you guys go listen to the whole thing yourself. But when he talks about I'll let him go. I'll let him keep going. But when he talks about the women, the point of the red flag was that controlling spirit. The controlling spirit. Notice that he started out asking, "Do you have a passive man?" and then a controlling woman. Now he's talking about the women. When you are running around and you are around a person, speaking from the man's perspective, and you're trying to figure out if you're making the right decision, when you're dealing with someone that's incredibly controlling, that's their personality, and you see how they're trying to control things, that is a huge, huge red flag. I see it all day. Again, I work with tons of women. From back in athletic days, dealing with a lot of single moms that bring their kids to practice, to being in fitness, to where, they're trying to keep their bodies right for their husband. They're dealing with the divorce or whatever it is, to now in education where I'm literally the only male in my department. So you see where the controlling spirit keeps them from being in a fulfilling relationship, because it's a huge turnoff to a man of God. I'll just tell you.
Is this how you act? This is too real. I mean, look what she does and look what she doesn't do.
Come on.
Well, what does she not do?
Hurt him, Pastor. Hurt somebody.
Encourage him.
Hurt somebody.
She doesn't say, hey, remember God's faithful. Hey, maybe God's going to give us something better. She shouldn't say, hey, let's pray about this together. No, she says, is this how you act, you big old loser? And let me tell you what he hears. What he hears is, you're weak, you're pathetic, and why did I marry a man like you? That's what he hears.
He's hurting somebody now.
And so for everybody who wants to have any type of a relationship that honors God, you need to know that your words will shape your relationship for better or for worse.
Wow.
What you say matters. Scripture says this, that the tongue has what? The power of life and death. Your words will shape your relationship for better or for worse. And so ladies, I'm gonna tell you a little secret about guys. And it is that we are more insecure than we let on. And some of you going like, that's no secret. We know it. Just pretend like you don't know it. Okay? But we really are.
All right. And so he spoke with. There's a lot. Let me see if I can script.
So Christian, we are a relationship that puts him first. Back toward God, because there's always a way back to God.
And that's where we'll cut it for now, because there's so much that I can get into, but again, the mission and the goal is to make sure I keep the faith-based Fridays to 30 minutes, especially if I'm going to be talking or allowing another platform or use another platform or use another video on my stuff. I try to be respectful of that and things of that nature. The main thing that we have to take away from the sermon, and I probably did a lot of talking myself because I get to preaching when it comes to certain topics. I could start to get very long-winded in preaching because this message hit home. But the main thing that we got to take away from the message is none of us can avoid relationships, wherever season you're in, dating, single, married, been married for long time, newlyweds, whatever it is, how many years it is, you got to be constantly day in and day out for yourself. And this is outside of, a partner or whatever. You have got to make sure you are putting God first in every step of the way, in everything that you do, or you will not make it. There's not one individual. I don't give a shit. But geez, I got to work on it. I don't give a rat's behind about who the person is. That person is not perfect. I don't care how much you love her. I don't care how much you love him or how perfect they may seem. They're not. Okay, accept it. They're not perfect. The situation's not going to be perfect. You have got to make sure God is at the beginning. It's the start of everything that you do, and then allow God to create the direction for you, and that's how you become whole. Understand, marriage is not two halves. Marriage is two wholes. All right. And I'll drop the mic with that one. If you want more information on what I do, if you're interested in an employee development workshop, and I'm actually, speaking of that, we're gonna be soon laying out I'm going to be back to doing group fitness classes, boot camp classes, and stuff like that at a park that's to be announced. So that'll all be available here on makeyourmove.com. That's MakeYamove.com. One-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one, Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker. Check it out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.